The chairs take me back.
Not as much as the smell of cooking.
So, what's the problem?
Well, I'm not sure it's right to describe it as a problem exactly. It's just there's been a remarkable change in Matthew's approach to school over the past few weeks. I'd noticed it myself. I'd taken for maths, as you know, but I thought he'd just been reading something, or I don't know. And then his other subject teachers started to talk to me about him, and it seems that this change goes right across the board.
What changes that, Mr. Trimble?
Well, I can't speak for his other subjects, of course, but in maths, he's obviously getting some stimulus, and I wondered if he'd been getting private coaching or anything like that.
No. Well, we didn't think there was any need.
Thank you. Perhaps one of you is a mathematician.
I'm certainly not.
No, I'm just an accountant. Simple arithmetic, yes.
Oh, it's strange. I wonder where he can be getting it from. It's not, in the family. Something hereditary.
No?
Not as far as we know.
Oh. Someone's been giving him ideas.
But I wonder, Mr. Trimble, if...
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm all for it in a general way. Anything that gets them going is welcome, but when a child is trying to cope with two different systems, it can confuse him rather than help him.
I'm still not sure I understand exactly what it is you're saying, Mr. Trimble. You mean he's trying to get ahead too fast,
No.
missing out some of the steps?
It's more like trying to think in two languages at the same time.
Two different languages? Well, how do you mean, Mr. Trimble?
Now, at first I wasn't quite sure what had got out of gear for the boy. Then I got hold of his rough work book, and that gave me a line on it. Let me show you what I mean. Now.
What do you reckon that means?
179.
How do you get that?
Well, starting at the right, each one is double the one before it. That adds up to 179. See, 100 would be like this. That's 4, and 32, and 64, which is 100, right?
Yes, it's what's called the binary code.
Is it? I didn't know. It's the way Chocky counts.
I was afraid Chocky might have something to do with this, but don't you think it's rather long-winded?
Chocky thinks it's silly just because you happen to have 10 fingers to have to bother with 10 different figures. And all you really need is 2.
I see. Yet another of the things she finds silly. You mean when she counts, she just uses Y's and N's?
Sort of. I just call them Y and N for yes and no because it's easier.
Yeah, it's the way computers count, but where did you come across it? Mr. Trimble says you haven't done it at school.
I told you, Dad. It's the way Chocky always uses.
I really can't take much more of this. He's beginning to drive me round the bend.
You're not suggesting Matthew?
No. I don't know.
Well, it's no good just telling him to pack it in.
Well,
He'll
then what
simply
are we supposed
clam up,
to do?
shut it away inside
we
himself.
need
and then
professional help.
I know, but what sort of professional help?
Well, I don't know. I'm not an expert in these things.
I mean, the really odd thing about it is the way Chocky comes up with things Matthew couldn't possibly know, or even think of for himself. Take the business with the car. You don't seriously think he wanted to say it was clumsy and old-fashioned, do you?
Well, there has to be a logical explanation.
Yes. Yes, that's right. No. They use it for putting satellites into orbit. Chocky, I can't understand you. All right.
The simplest thing will be to ask Dr. Acott to recommend a consultant.
Oh, I don't think this is really on a GP's line. And I can just imagine his reactions, assuming Matthew could be persuaded to tell him anything, which is doubtful.
If only we knew something about Matthew's background. Well, there might be a history of this sort of thing in the family.
What sort of thing?
Well, mental disturbances.
What are you suggesting? Darling, you've got to accept it. He's a foundling. We adopted him. We're the only family he's ever had. There's no way we can find out where he came from.
You have to knock out all the enemy ships before they get you. No, it's only a game. Yeah. You see?
Oh, 86. I'll never do it at top level. Here, you have a go.
Oh, I don't know.
You're not chicken, are you?
No, of course not.
What level?
A top.
There you are.
Right. Here we go. Into action.